I bought my first house and invited everyone to celebrate. Not a single person came, they all went to see my sister's new car. As I turned on the lights alone, Mom called, "We need to talk about the house." My name is Jessica, I'm 28, and I just bought my first house. What should have been the happiest day of my life turned into something I'll never forget, but not for the reasons I expected. Let me start from the beginning. I've been saving for this house for 6 years. 6 freaking years. While my friends were going on vacation to Europe and buying designer bags, I was eating ramen noodles and driving my beat-up Honda Civic with the check engine light permanently on. I worked 2 jobs, my main job as a marketing coordinator at a small firm during the day, and weekends at a local coffee shop. Every penny I didn't absolutely need went straight into my house fund. My family knew how important this was to me. My parents, Robert and Linda, my younger sister Madison who's 24, my older brother Tyler who's 30 with his wife Sarah and their twin boys. They all knew I'd been dreaming of this moment since I graduated college. I'd shown them pictures of houses I was looking at, talked their ears off about mortgage rates and down payments. When I finally found the one, a charming 1920s bungalow with original hardwood floors and a clawfoot tub, they were all excited for me. At least, I thought they were. The house closing was scheduled for Friday afternoon. I took the whole day off work because I wanted to savor every moment. The signing took longer than expected, but by 4 p.m., I was holding the keys to my very own house. My house. I literally cried in the real estate office. My agent, Patricia, was so sweet and took pictures of me with the keys and the sold sign. I had planned a little celebration for that evening. Nothing fancy, just pizza, some wine, and the people I love most in my cozy new living room. I'd sent out a group text to the family chat 3 weeks earlier, house party at my new place Friday night. Pizza and wine to celebrate your girl becoming a homeowner. 7 p.m. sharp, can't wait to show you guys around. Everyone responded enthusiastically. Mom said she'd bring dessert. Dad said he was proud of me, couldn't wait to see the place. Tyler and Sarah said they'd try to get a babysitter. Madison sent back about 15 fire emojis and said she wouldn't miss it for the world. After I got the keys, I drove straight to the house. I spent the afternoon just walking around, touching the walls, sitting in each room, taking it all in. I kept thinking about all the memories I'd make here, all the family gatherings, maybe someday having kids of my own running around the backyard. I ordered pizza for 8 people, enough for everyone with leftovers because I know Tyler eats like a horse. I bought flowers for the dining room table, got wine glasses down from the boxes I'd already moved in, and made sure everything was perfect. At 6:45 p.m., I was ready. I'd even put on a nice dress and done my makeup because I wanted to look good in all the photos I knew we'd take. I imagined posting them on social media with captions like "First night in my new home with my favorite people." 7 o'clock came and went. No one showed up. I figured they were just running late. You know how families can be, especially when Tyler and Sarah have to deal with getting the twins ready. I sent a casual text to the group chat, "Hey guys, pizza's here and getting cold. Where is everyone?" No responses. By 7:30, I was starting to feel that familiar knot in my stomach. The pizza boxes sat unopened on my new dining room table, and I'd already drunk half a glass of wine just from nerves. I called Tyler first. "Hey, are you guys still coming? I've got pizza getting cold over here." "Oh, Jess, I'm so sorry. Sarah's not feeling well and the boys have been monsters all day. We're not going to make it tonight." Rain check? Okay, that was understandable. Sarah had been fighting something all week. I called my parents next. "Dad? You guys on your way?" "Actually, sweetheart, we're at Madison's right now. She got that new car today, you know? We wanted to see it before it got dark. We'll try to swing by after." My stomach dropped. Madison got a new car? This was the first I was hearing about it. When did Madison get a new car? Oh, just today. She's been so excited. It's a beautiful BMW, Jessica. Really something to see. I felt like I'd been punched. But, Dad, this is my housewarming party. Remember? I bought my first house? Of course, honey. Like I said, we'll try to stop by after we're done here. The call ended and I just stood in my empty living room, holding my phone. Madison hadn't even mentioned she was getting a car. And a BMW? How the hell could she afford a BMW? She worked part-time at a boutique and lived with our parents rent-free. I called Madison directly. It went to voicemail. I tried again. Voicemail again. By 8:30, I was sitting alone at my dining room table with 8 place settings, surrounded by unopened pizza boxes, watching the wine get warm. I turned on all the lights in the house to make it feel more welcoming, but it just made the emptiness more obvious. That's when my phone rang. Mom. Hi, Mom. Are you guys coming over? Jessica, we need to talk about the house. My blood went cold. What about the house? Well, your father and I have been discussing it, and we're concerned you might have made a mistake. This house, it's so expensive, honey. And you're all alone in there. We think you should have waited, maybe found a nice apartment instead. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mom, I've been planning this for 6 years. You knew I was buying this house. You saw the listing. We talked about it 100 times. I know, but seeing Madison's new car today, it just made us realize there are better ways to spend money. That BMW is such a smart investment. Cars are necessities, but this house. It's so big for just one person. A BMW is a smart investment? I was trying not to raise my voice, but I was losing it. Mom, a car depreciates the second you drive it off the lot. A house is literally the best investment I can make at my age. Don't get snippy with me, Jessica. We're just worried about you. This house is going to tie you down. Madison's car gives her freedom. I hung up. I actually hung up on my mother, which I'd never done in my entire life. I sat in that empty house for another hour, just staring at the cold pizza and trying to process what had happened. My family had blown off the most important milestone of my life to look at my sister's new car. A car that, knowing my parents, they'd probably helped her buy. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Madison had never saved for anything in her life. When she wanted something, she either asked our parents or put it on credit cards. She'd never even paid rent. She'd never gone without so she could save money. She'd never worked 2 jobs or eaten ramen for dinner 4 nights a week. And somehow, her getting a BMW was more important than celebrating the fact that I'd just accomplished something huge. I spent Saturday in my new house, unpacking boxes and trying to shake off the hurt. But the more I unpacked, the more I found reminders of how hard I'd worked for this. Old pay stubs from the coffee shop job I'd kept in a folder. Receipts from all the things I'd saved money on, generic groceries, thrift store clothes, that one vacation I'd canceled to boost my down payment fund. Saturday afternoon, I decided I needed some perspective, so I called my best friend Amy. She'd been my roommate in college and knew better than anyone what I'd sacrificed to make this dream happen. Jess. How was the housewarming party? I'm so sorry I couldn't make it, you know how crazy my work schedule is. Amy lived in Portland now, working as a nurse. She'd been one of the few people who genuinely celebrated when I told her about buying the house. Actually, Amy, nobody came. There was a long pause. What do you mean nobody came? I told her everything. About Madison's car, about my family choosing to celebrate that instead, about my mother calling to question my decision to buy the house while they were all out at dinner together. Are you fucking kidding me? Amy's voice was sharp with anger. Jessica, you have been talking about buying a house since sophomore year. You worked at that awful coffee shop where the manager was a creep. You lived on mac and cheese for months. You didn't even come to my birthday last year because you couldn't afford the plane ticket, and they all ditched you for a car? Hearing it from Amy made it feel even worse. She was right, I'd missed so many things over the years because I was saving for this house. My college friend Rachel's wedding in California because I couldn't afford the flight and hotel. Bachelorette parties because I couldn't afford the restaurants and bars. Weekend trips that everyone else seemed to afford easily. Amy, what if they're right? What if I made a mistake? What if I should have just gotten an apartment and lived a little? Jessica Marie Thompson, don't you dare let them make you doubt yourself. You bought a house at 28 in this economy. Do you have any idea how incredible that is? Half the people our age are living with roommates or back with their parents. You own property. You have equity. You have your own space that no landlord can take away from you. She was getting worked up, which actually made me feel better. At least someone understood what a big deal this was. And Madison got a BMW? How much is she making at that boutique job? Probably like $15 an hour, part-time. So your parents basically bought her a luxury car while questioning your decision to invest in real estate. Do you see how insane that is? I did see it. I'd been seeing it all day, but hearing Amy say it out loud made it crystal clear. You know what this is really about, Jess? You've always been the responsible one, and they take you for granted. Madison is the baby who needs help, Tyler is the golden boy with his family, and you're just there. Reliable Jessica who has her shit together so they don't have to worry about you. Amy was hitting on something I'd never really articulated before. It was true, I was always the one they called when they needed someone dependable. When my grandmother was in the hospital last year, who did they ask to coordinate all the relatives and manage the schedule of who would visit when? Me. When Tyler and Sarah needed a babysitter for their anniversary dinner, who did they call? Me. When my parents' computer broke and they needed someone to fix it and transfer all their photos, who spent her entire Sunday doing tech support? Me. But when it came time to celebrate my achievements, I was somehow not a priority. Amy, I think I want to get back at them. Good. What are you thinking? I told her about my idea to pretend to sell the house and see if that would get their attention. Oh my God, Jessica, that's brilliant. It's like a psychological experiment. You're going to prove that they only care about financial decisions they understand, not actual achievements. Is that terrible of me? Are you kidding? It's perfect. They need to learn this lesson, and you're going to teach it to them without actually hurting anyone. You're not taking anything away from them or costing them money. You're just showing them their own hypocrisy. Amy helped me think through the plan. We talked for 2 hours, and by the time I hung up, I felt energized instead of defeated. But Sunday morning brought a new low. I woke up to a group text in the family chat that Madison had started at 8 a.m., coffee run. Who wants to come with me to try out the new drive-thru in my BMW? Romantic face emoji, coffee emoji, car emoji. Tyler responded immediately, can't, boys have soccer, but take pics. Mom replied, sounds fun honey. Dad and I might be up for it. Sarah sent back, so jealous. That car is gorgeous. I stared at my phone in disbelief. They were planning another Madison car appreciation event, and once again, nobody had even acknowledged that I existed. No one had texted me to ask how my first night in the new house went. No one had sent a follow-up message apologizing for missing the party or asking if they could see the house another time. I screenshot the conversation and sent it to Amy with a message, case in point. She replied immediately, oh hell no. Operation House Revenge is definitely happening. That's when Madison finally called me back. Jess. Oh my god, I'm so sorry about Friday night. I completely forgot you were having people over. The conversation went exactly as I described before, but what I didn't mention was what happened after I hung up on her. She immediately started blowing up the family group chat. Madison, did you guys know Jessica is really upset about Friday night? Mom, what do you mean? Madison, she's mad that we all went to look at my car instead of going to her house thing. Her house thing? She called my housewarming party my house thing. Tyler, oh shit, that was Friday night? I thought that was next weekend. Sarah, wait, what house thing? I couldn't believe what I was reading. Sarah didn't even know about my housewarming party. Tyler thought it was a different weekend. Were any of these people paying attention to anything I said? Madison, she invited us all over to see her new house and have pizza. Mom, well, she'll get over it. Jessica's always been sensitive. Always been sensitive. I screenshot that too and sent it to Amy. Amy called me immediately. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing how they're talking about you? I know. It's like I'm a child throwing a tantrum instead of an adult who had every right to expect her family to show up when they said they would. And your mom just dismissed your feelings completely. She'll get over it? You bought a house, Jessica. The biggest purchase of your life, and she's acting like you're pouting about a birthday party. That's when I knew I had to go through with my plan. This wasn't just about the missed party anymore. This was about a pattern of behavior that had probably been going on for years, and I was just now seeing it clearly. I spent Sunday afternoon researching the housing market in my area. I looked up comparable sales, studied the trends, figured out what I could realistically list my house for if I actually wanted to sell it. I needed my story to be believable. I also spent time thinking about my family dynamics. Amy was right about me being the reliable one who got taken for granted. When had that started? Probably when I was in middle school and Madison was still little. I was the one who helped with homework, who kept track of schedules, who could be counted on to be responsible. Tyler was older and got to be the trailblazer, first to graduate, first to get married, first to have kids. Madison was the baby who got coddled. And I was the middle child who kept everything running smoothly. In high school, when I got a part-time job, my parents praised me for being responsible. When Madison wanted spending money, they just gave it to her. When Tyler needed help with college expenses, they took out a parent loan. When I needed college money, they co-signed my student loans and told me they were proud of me for being independent. At the time, I thought their confidence in my ability to handle things on my own was a compliment. Now I was starting to wonder if it was just convenient for them to have one kid they didn't have to worry about. Sunday evening, I started putting my plan into motion. I called Patricia, my real estate agent, and told her I wanted to get a market analysis on my house. Jessica, is everything okay? You just bought this place. Everything's fine. I'm just curious about the market. Maybe I want to see how much equity I'm building. Patricia was professional about it, but I could tell she thought I was crazy. Well, given the improvements the previous owners made and the way this neighborhood has been appreciating, I'd say you could probably list it for about $15,000 to $20,000 more than you paid and get some interest. Perfect. That gave me the numbers I needed for my story. Monday morning, I called in sick to work. I couldn't focus on marketing campaigns and client presentations when I was orchestrating the most elaborate lesson I'd ever taught my family. Instead, I spent the day setting up the groundwork for my fake house sale. I created a fake listing on my computer, not online, just for my own reference so I could keep my story straight. I researched what paperwork would be involved in a real sale so I could mention the right documents and timelines. I even called Patricia back and asked her hypothetical questions about quick sales and closing timelines. Jessica, if you're thinking about selling, I really think you should wait at least a year. You'll avoid some of the taxes, and you'll have a better idea of how you like the house. I'm not definitely selling, I lied. I'm just exploring my options. Tuesday, I started dropping hints in casual conversations. I called my mom to ask about a recipe, something innocent, and worked the house into the conversation. Mom, do you happen to have Grandma's apple pie recipe? I want to try making it in my new kitchen. Of course, honey. How are you settling in? Good mostly. Although I have to admit, the mortgage payment is a little higher than I expected. I'm starting to wonder if you guys were right about the house being too expensive. I could practically hear her perk up. Well, it's not too late to reconsider, Jessica. The market is good right now, you could probably get out without losing money. Do you really think so? Absolutely. Your father and I were just saying that maybe this was all a little rushed. There's no shame in admitting you made a mistake. A mistake? My dream house that I'd worked 6 years to afford was a mistake. I might call my real estate agent and see what she thinks. That's very mature of you, sweetie. Wednesday, I called Tyler. Hey, how are the boys? They're good. Driving us crazy, but good. How's the new house? Actually, that's kind of why I'm calling. I'm starting to think it might be too much house for just me. Really? But you seem so excited about it. I was, but now that I'm living in it, I don't know. It feels too big, and the mortgage is stressing me out. Have you talked to Mom and Dad about it? A little bit. They think I should consider selling. Maybe they're right. I mean, you're single, you don't need all that space. And if you could make a profit. Even Tyler was ready to dismiss my house as unnecessary. My own brother, who lived in a 4-bedroom house for his family of 4, thought a 2-bedroom house was too much for me. Thursday, I had lunch with Madison. She was still driving the BMW, still posting pictures of it, still acting like she'd accomplished something by signing loan papers. Madison, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you think I made a mistake buying the house? She looked surprised. Why would you ask that? I don't know. Mom and Dad seemed to think it was too impulsive. And after seeing your car, I'm wondering if I should have just gotten something fun instead of tying myself down to a mortgage. Madison's face lit up. Oh my God, Jess, you should totally get a car instead. We could go car shopping together. It would be so fun to both have nice cars. The fact that she thought trading my house for a car was a good idea told me everything I needed to know about her financial priorities. I'm thinking about listing the house and seeing what happens. Really? How much do you think you could get for it? My agent thinks maybe $15,000 or $20,000 more than I paid. Jess, that's like instant money. You should definitely do it. Instant money? Madison thought $20,000 in home equity gained over 3 weeks was instant money. She had no concept of how real estate worked, how equity built over time, how much I'd have to pay in realtor fees and closing costs. She just heard profit and got excited. Friday morning, I called my parents and told them I decided to list the house. My mom actually cheered. Jessica, I'm so proud of you for making this decision. It takes real maturity to admit when you've gotten in over your head. In over my head. I was in over my head with a mortgage payment that was less than most people pay for rent in my city. Your father and I were worried about you, honey. This house was such a big commitment for someone your age. Someone my age. I was 28, not 18. But now you'll have some money to invest in something more practical. More practical than real estate. I was curious what they thought would be more practical than buying property. Like what? Well, a nice reliable car, for starters. That Honda of yours is getting pretty old. Of course. A depreciating asset was more practical than an appreciating one. And maybe you could find a nice apartment. Something modern with amenities. You could have a pool and a gym. A pool and a gym that I'd pay for through rent but never own. That I'd lose access to the minute I moved out. We're just so relieved, Jessica. This house was making us worry about your financial future. My financial future. The same financial future I'd been carefully planning and saving for since college. I should have the listing up by next week, I told her. Wonderful. Let us know if you need any help with anything. Help. Now they wanted to offer help. Where was this offer of help when I was moving boxes or when I was working 2 jobs to save for the down payment? By the weekend, I had my whole family convinced that I was selling the house and feeling good about it. They were all suddenly very interested in my financial decisions and very supportive of what they thought was my newfound practicality. Sunday evening, Madison called me with exciting news. Jess, I was talking to Mom and Dad, and we want to throw you a party when you sell the house. Like a celebration for making such a smart decision. A party? For selling my house. The party they wouldn't throw for buying it. That's really sweet of you guys. We were thinking we could go to Morrison's Steakhouse. You know, somewhere really nice to celebrate your big profit. Morrison's Steakhouse. The same place they'd gone after ditching my housewarming party. That sounds perfect, Madison. I'm so excited for you. And Jess? I'm sorry again about missing your house thing. I know you were upset, but now it all worked out anyway, right? Like, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. My family ditching me happened for a reason, and the reason was that they cared more about a car than about me. But sure, everything worked out. Yeah, Madison. Everything worked out perfectly. Jess. Oh my God, I'm so sorry about Friday night. I completely forgot you were having people over. Forgot? I couldn't hide the ice in my voice. Madison, I sent that invitation 3 weeks ago. I know, but when the dealership called and said my car was ready, I just got so excited. And Mom and Dad wanted to see it right away, and then Tyler and Sarah came over too, and we ended up going out to dinner to celebrate. They went out to dinner. They all went out to dinner together while I sat alone in my house with cold pizza. You all went out to dinner? Yeah, to that steakhouse Dad loves. It was so fun. You should have come. I should have come. To celebrate her car. On the day I bought my first house. Madison, do you have any idea how much I saved to buy this house? I mean, I know it was expensive. $68,000, Madison. I saved $68,000 in 6 years for the down payment and closing costs. I worked 60 hours a week for 2 years straight. I haven't bought new clothes in 3 years. I haven't been on a vacation since college. I did all of that so I could buy this house, and when I invited my family to celebrate with me, everyone ditched me to look at your car. There was silence on the other end. Jess, I didn't know you'd be so upset. How did you buy a BMW, Madison? Another pause. Mom and Dad helped me. Of course they did. How much did they help you? They gave me the down payment. And they're co-signing the loan. I felt that familiar rage building up. How much was the down payment? $12,000. $12,000. They gave Madison $12,000 for a car down payment without blinking an eye, but when I bought my first house, something I'd worked toward for 6 years, they questioned whether it was a good decision. Madison, I have to go. Jess, wait. I hung up. That night, I lay in bed in my new bedroom, staring at the ceiling and making a decision. I was done. I was done being the responsible one who got taken for granted. I was done watching Madison get handed everything while I worked for scraps of attention and approval. I was done being the afterthought. It was time for some payback. Monday morning, I called my parents. Hi, Mom. Oh, Jessica. I'm so glad you called. I felt terrible about the way we left things on Friday. Actually, Mom, I'm calling because I need some financial advice. Of course, honey. What's going on? Well, you were right about the house being too expensive. I'm thinking about selling it. I could practically hear her perk up through the phone. Oh, Jessica, I think that's so smart. Your father and I were just saying how proud we are that you're being practical about this. Yeah, and I was thinking, if I sell it, I'll make a nice profit. The market's been going up, and my real estate agent thinks I could get at least $20,000 more than I paid for it. That's wonderful. So I was wondering if you'd help me plan a little investment party when I sell it. You know, to celebrate making such a smart financial decision. Of course. We'd love to. Great. I'll keep you posted. Phase 1, complete. Over the next 2 weeks, I watched Madison's social media posts about her new BMW. Pictures of her washing it, pictures of her driving it, pictures of it parked outside restaurants I couldn't afford. Each post had comments from our parents about how proud they were, how responsible she was, how excited they were for her new independence. Not one of them had mentioned my house on social media. Not one. 2 weeks after the non-housewarming party, I put my plan into action. I called my real estate agent, Patricia. Patricia, I know this might sound crazy, but I want to list my house for sale. Jessica, you just bought it. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. I think I want to try something different. Patricia was confused, but she's a professional. Okay, if you're sure. The market's been good, and your house is in a great neighborhood. We might be able to get you a quick sale, maybe even at a profit. That's what I'm hoping for. I listed the house for $15,000 more than I'd paid for it. Within a week, I had 3 offers, one of which was asking price. I accepted it. But here's the thing, I wasn't actually planning to sell. I was planning something much better. I started telling my family about all the interest I was getting on the house. I told them about the offers, about how much money I was going to make, about how smart they were to encourage me to sell. Madison, of course, was fascinated by the idea of me making a quick profit. Oh my God, Jess, you're going to be rich. Well, not rich, but I'll have a nice chunk of money to invest. What are you going to do with it? Here's where I planted the seed. I'm not sure yet. I might buy a rental property. Or maybe I'll just do what you did and get something fun, like a nice car. Madison's eyes lit up. You should totally get a car. We could have matching BMWs. Maybe not a BMW. Those are pretty expensive. Not really. Mom and Dad helped me, and the payments are super manageable. I bit my tongue to keep from saying what I was thinking, manageable because our parents were making the payments. 3 weeks later, the sale was supposed to close. I called my parents on Friday afternoon. Mom, the house sale went through. I'm officially homeless again, but I'm $23,000 richer. Oh, Jessica, that's wonderful. We're so proud of you for making such a mature decision. Thanks. So, remember you said you'd help me plan a celebration party? Of course. Great. How about tomorrow night? I was thinking we could do something nice, maybe that steakhouse you guys love. I heard my mom talking to my dad in the background. Tomorrow night sounds perfect. Should we invite Tyler and Madison? Definitely. This is a big deal for me, and I want everyone there. We set it up for 6 p.m. at Morrison Steakhouse, the same place they'd taken Madison after ditching my housewarming party. I made a reservation for 6 people: me, Mom, Dad, Madison, Tyler, and Sarah. Saturday evening, I got dressed up. I put on my best dress, did my hair and makeup, and drove to the restaurant in my beat-up Honda Civic. I was 15 minutes early because I wanted to see everyone arrive. They all showed up together, which I'd expected. Madison was practically bouncing with excitement as they walked in. Jess, congratulations on your big sale. I can't believe you made so much money. Tyler clapped me on the back. Look at you, little entrepreneur. I'm impressed. Mom and Dad were beaming. We're so proud of you for being smart about this, Mom said. This is so much better than being tied down to that house. We ordered drinks and appetizers, and everyone was in such a good mood. They kept talking about how wise I was, how mature, how they always knew I was the practical one in the family. After we ordered our entrees, Madison raised her glass. I want to make a toast to Jessica, for making such a smart decision and for showing us all how to turn a profit. Everyone clinked glasses, and I smiled. Actually, before we toast, I have something to tell you all. They looked at me expectantly. I didn't sell the house. The table went quiet. Madison lowered her glass. What do you mean? I mean I still own the house. I never sold it. Dad frowned. Jessica, you just said the sale went through. No, I said I wanted you to think it went through. I took a sip of my wine and looked around the table. See, 3 weeks ago, I invited all of you to celebrate the biggest achievement of my life. I bought my first house after 6 years of saving and sacrifice. And not one of you showed up. Mom started to say something, but I held up my hand. Instead, you all went to look at Madison's new BMW. A car that she didn't save for, didn't work extra jobs for, didn't sacrifice for. A car that you, Mom and Dad, essentially bought for her. And then you went out to dinner together to celebrate. The table was dead silent now. So I thought to myself, what would it take to get my family's attention? What would make them proud of me? And I realized it wasn't going to be hard work or responsibility or achieving my dreams. It was going to be making money quickly and easily. Madison looked like she was going to cry. Jess, I'm sorry, I didn't. I'm not done. I pulled out my phone and opened my calculator app. Madison, your car payment is how much? What? Your car payment. How much is it? She looked at our parents. $450 a month. And Mom and Dad, you're co-signing, which means you're responsible if she can't pay, right? Dad nodded slowly. $450 a month for 5 years. That's $27,000, not counting interest. So you're actually paying closer to $35,000 for that car. For something that'll be worth maybe $15,000 by the time it's paid off. I turned to my parents. Do you know what my mortgage payment is? They shook their heads. $1,200 a month. But here's the thing, every month, I'm building equity. Every month, I'm paying toward owning something that will likely be worth more in 6 years than it is today. In 30 years, I'll own a 3-bedroom house free and clear. In 6 years, Madison will own an 8-year-old BMW that needs expensive repairs. Tyler was staring at his plate. Sarah looked uncomfortable. But none of that mattered when I wanted to celebrate, did it? My house wasn't exciting enough. My achievement wasn't worthy of your time. Madison's car, though? That was worth ditching me for. Jessica, Mom said quietly, we didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. You all did. So I decided to see what would happen if I pretended to make the kind of financial decision you'd approve of. If I pretended to prioritize quick money over long-term investment. And look. I gestured around the table. Here you all are. ready to celebrate me for making what you thought was a fast profit. The silence stretched on. Our server came by to check on us, took one look at our faces, and quickly retreated. Jessica, Dad finally said, I think we owe you an apology. You think? We do. We absolutely do. We got caught up in Madison's excitement and we forgot about your celebration. That was wrong. Madison was crying now. Jess, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for everyone to skip your party. I was just excited about the car, and when Mom and Dad wanted to see it. You could have said let's see it tomorrow, tonight is Jessica's housewarming party. You're right. I should have. I looked around the table at my family. Part of me felt satisfied seeing them squirm. Part of me felt bad for making Madison cry. But mostly, I felt tired. Here's what's going to happen, I said. I'm going to finish my dinner, and then I'm going to go home. To my house. The house I worked my ass off to buy and that I'm incredibly proud of. And next weekend, I'm having another housewarming party. A real one, with people who actually give a damn about my accomplishments. Can we come? Tyler asked quietly. I looked at him for a long moment. Tyler, you and Sarah can come if you want to. You had sick kids and a valid reason for not showing up the first time. What about us? Mom asked. I don't know yet. I need to think about whether I want people at my celebration who think my biggest achievement isn't worth their time. We finished dinner in near silence. When the check came, Dad reached for it, but I grabbed it first. This one's on me. Consider it a thank you for teaching me an important lesson about who I can count on. I paid the check and left. I drove home to my house, and sat in my living room with a glass of wine. I felt lighter than I had in weeks. The next day, Madison showed up at my door. Jess, can we talk? I let her in and made us coffee. We sat in my kitchen, and she looked around with genuine appreciation. This place is beautiful, Jess. I can't believe I missed seeing it the first time. Thanks. I owe you a real apology. Not just for missing your party, but for everything. For always taking the easy way while you worked so hard. For not appreciating what you've accomplished. I studied her face. She seemed genuinely remorseful. Madison, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you even like the car? She was quiet for a long moment. Not really. I mean, it's nice, but the payments stress me out. And I feel guilty every time I drive it because I know Mom and Dad are stretching to help me with it. Then why did you get it? Because Sarah has a nice car, and Tyler's doing well, and you were buying a house, and I felt like I was falling behind. Like everyone else was accomplishing things and I was still living at home working part-time. It was the most honest thing Madison had ever said to me. Madison, there's nothing wrong with living at home if you're working towards something. But getting into debt for a car you can't afford isn't accomplishing something. It's the opposite. She nodded. I know that now. I've been thinking about it all week, especially after last night. You're right about everything. The car is going to be worth nothing, and you're building equity in your house. What are you going to do? I think I'm going to sell it. Take the loss and get something I can actually afford. I was surprised. Really? Yeah. And I want to start saving money for real. Maybe not for a house right away, but for something meaningful. Will you help me figure out how to budget and save like you did? For the first time since this whole mess started, I smiled at my sister. Of course I will. Over the next week, Tyler and Sarah called to apologize and ask if they could see the house. My parents took longer to come around, but eventually, Dad called. Jessica, your mother and I have been talking, and we realize we made a big mistake. Not just about missing your party, but about our attitude toward your house purchase. We were wrong to question your decision, and we're sorry. Thank you for saying that, Dad. We'd like to make it up to you, if you'll let us. Can we take you to dinner? Somewhere to celebrate your house properly? Actually, Dad, I have a better idea. The following Saturday, I hosted my real housewarming party. Tyler and Sarah came with the twins, who loved running around my backyard. Madison came and spent the whole evening asking me questions about mortgage rates and home maintenance. And my parents came too, with flowers for every room and genuine enthusiasm for the house I'd worked so hard to buy. We ordered pizza again, the same pizza from the same place. But this time, we ate it together around my dining room table while my family told me how proud they were and how beautiful my house was. After everyone left, I sat in my living room with a glass of wine, surrounded by housewarming gifts and empty pizza boxes. My house felt full in a way it hadn't 3 weeks earlier, even though I was alone again. My phone buzzed with a text from Madison. Thank you for not giving up on us. Your house is perfect and you should be so proud. Also, I listed the BMW for sale today, heart emoji. I smiled and looked around my living room. My house. My achievement. My fresh start. 3 months later, Madison moved into her own apartment, a modest one-bedroom that she could actually afford. She'd gotten a full-time job and started a savings account. She even asked me to help her create a 5-year plan for buying her own house someday. My parents stopped questioning my financial decisions and started asking for my advice. Turns out, when you prove you know what you're doing, people start treating you differently. And Tyler? He and Sarah ended up buying a house 6 months later. Guess who they called for help with a home inspection and mortgage shopping? As for me, I'm still in my house, still loving every minute of homeownership. I've painted the kitchen, started a garden, and hosted 3 more family gatherings, all of which everyone attended. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting back at people. Sometimes it's simply refusing to accept being treated poorly and demanding the respect you deserve. Sometimes it's showing people who you really are and giving them the chance to do better. And sometimes it's buying the house of your dreams and filling it with people who celebrate your victories instead of taking them for granted. But I'll be honest, watching my family realize they'd been wrong about everything while sitting in that steakhouse was pretty satisfying too.